Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak to the deepest part of your heart about a power that lives within each of us. A power that is often overlooked, yet it holds the key to every victory, every dream, every step forward in life. That power is the quiet, unwavering confidence that comes from truly accepting yourself. Not the confidence borrowed from applause or approval. Not the fleeting kind that comes when everything is going your way, but the steadfast kind that grows when you embrace who you are, flaws and all. It is a confidence born from knowing that you are worthy, that your life has meaning, and that your abilities, your voice, and your presence matter in this world. Self-acceptance is not a destination. It is a journey. It is the moment you stop trying to be someone else and begin to honor the person standing before you in the mirror. It is the courage to acknowledge your weaknesses without shame and your strengths without arrogance. And when you step into this truth, a remarkable thing happens. Fear loses its grip, doubt fades into the background, and you begin to walk boldly toward your purpose with unwavering faith in yourself. Here, in this sacred space of your own worth, confidence is born. It is quiet, yet it moves mountains. It is humble, yet it commands respect. And it is the very foundation upon which all true success is built. Listen, life has a way of testing us, of trying to convince us that we need to change who we are to fit into someone else's mold. Society will whisper, your peers will judge, and even the mirror can sometimes feel like an enemy, reflecting all the things you think are wrong with you. But here's the truth. The moment you embrace who you are, fully, completely, without hesitation or shame, that is the moment your life begins to shift. There is power in authenticity, a magnetic force that pulls opportunity, respect, and connection toward you, because the world senses when you are standing in your truth. To embrace yourself is not a casual act. It is a declaration, a refusal to let fear dictate how you live, and an acceptance that your uniqueness is not a flaw, but a gift meant to be shared. Too many people walk through life trying to hide their quirks, their passions, their voice, their ideas, because they fear rejection. They shrink, they dim their light, hoping somehow invisibility will spare them from criticism. But living small never serves anyone. There is a fire inside you, and that fire was given to you for a reason. When you let it burn unapologetically, you inspire others to do the same. You become a beacon for those who have been silenced, a living example that it is possible to step into the world fully, without masks, without fear, without pretending to be someone you are not. There is a kind of freedom that comes only when you accept yourself entirely, flaws included, and carry yourself with dignity, strength, and confidence. Embracing who you are means looking inward with honesty, seeing your scars and your victories, your moments of weakness and your moments of triumph, and saying, I am enough. It is choosing to honor your journey, every misstep and every triumph, recognizing that each piece of your story has shaped you into the person standing here today. And when you stand in that self-acceptance, something remarkable happens. Your energy changes, your presence commands respect, and doors that were once closed begin to open. Because authenticity has a way of attracting opportunity. People are drawn to those who are real because they sense courage in vulnerability. They see strength in self-respect, and they feel hope in witnessing someone live boldly. Do not mistake self-acceptance for arrogance. It is not about thinking you are better than anyone else. It is about understanding that you are fully capable, fully worthy, and fully alive. It is about knowing that the value you bring to the world cannot be measured by others' opinions, their expectations, or their approval. You have a voice that matters, a perspective that matters, a life that matters, and the moment you fully embrace it, the world cannot ignore it. Confidence grows when you stop apologizing for existing, when you stop hiding your talents or dimming your ideas to fit in, and when you allow yourself to shine on your own terms. Every challenge you have faced, every criticism you have received, every moment of doubt has prepared you for this moment. Embracing yourself does not erase the struggles. It reframes them. It gives them purpose, turning obstacles into lessons, fears into fuel, and rejection into redirection. You learn to walk taller, speak louder, and act with a clarity that comes only from knowing who you are. Life will continue to throw tests your way, But when you stand in self-acceptance, you navigate them with a calm certainty. You do not move through life reacting to fear or validation from others. You move with intention, integrity, and power. Shining without apology is an act of courage. It is choosing to honor your dreams, your values, and your essence, even when the world resists or misunderstands. It is refusing to dim your light because someone else cannot handle it. Every time you step into your purpose fully, authentically, without hesitation, you create a ripple effect. Others see what is possible when they stop hiding, when they stop apologizing for their passions, and when they claim their own worth. The world needs the gift that only you can give, the unique combination of talent, heart, and spirit that exists nowhere else. The path to embracing who you are is not always easy. It requires confronting insecurities, facing rejection, and standing firm when the voices of doubt rise. But that path is worth every step, because on the other side lies freedom, the freedom to live without pretense, the freedom to create without restraint, and the freedom to love yourself unconditionally. Every day you wake up and choose authenticity over conformity. You plant seeds of courage in your soul. Each time you refuse to apologize for your brilliance, you strengthen your foundation and you begin to attract opportunities, people, and experiences that align with your true self. Remember, life rewards those who show up fully. The moment you embrace your true self, you send a signal to the universe that you are ready, that you are capable, and that you are willing to do the work necessary to achieve your dreams. Self-acceptance is not a one-time event. It is a practice, a commitment, a daily choice to honor who you are and to shine boldly. The world will challenge you. It will try to make you doubt. It will attempt to convince you that your light is too much or too little. But if you remain steadfast, if you refuse to apologize for existing as your true self, you will move through life with a confidence and clarity that few ever experience. There is a unique power in embracing who you are. It creates resilience, fosters courage, and ignites passion. It inspires others, transforms relationships, and opens doors that were once hidden. Your authenticity becomes your strength, your shield, and your guiding light. And in living without apology, without hesitation, without compromise, you discover that success is not measured by wealth, status, or accolades alone, but by the depth of your self-respect, the strength of your conviction, and the fullness with which you live your own truth. So take a moment, look within, and honor yourself. Celebrate your journey, your scars, your victories, and the fire that burns inside you. The world may not always understand, it may not always applaud, but it will feel your presence, your energy, and your power. Shine without apology, stand without fear, and embrace every part of yourself because there is no one else who can live your life, carry your vision, or bring your light into the world exactly the way you can. Your confidence, your authenticity, your unapologetic existence is the very thing that will move you forward, elevate your life, and inspire everyone who witnesses your courage. Life has a way of pointing out our weaknesses, of holding up a mirror to all the parts of us we wish were different, all the scars, mistakes, and imperfections that make us human. It is easy to shrink in the face of these flaws, to allow them to define us, to make us feel less than we are. But the truth is that every flaw, every limitation, every challenge carries within it the seeds of strength if you are willing to see it, willing to embrace it, and willing to use it. Life does not ask us to be perfect. It asks us to be resilient, to be courageous, to stand tall, even when the world whispers that we are not enough. Flaws are not weaknesses unless we allow them to be. They are the raw material on which character, power, and influence are built. When you begin to view your flaws differently, everything changes. A fear that once held you back becomes a compass pointing toward growth. A mistake becomes a lesson etched into your soul, a blueprint for how to act differently next time, a guidepost toward wisdom. Painful experiences, failures, moments of shame or embarrassment, these are not chains meant to bind you, but weights that, when lifted, reveal your strength. Every flaw carries with it the opportunity to rise above, to turn adversity into advantage, to transform the very things you once despised into tools for your success. The scars you carry are proof of your endurance, your capacity to survive, and your courage to continue moving forward despite the obstacles. Standing tall means choosing to show up fully even when you feel unworthy or unsure. It means looking at yourself honestly, acknowledging your imperfections, and saying, I am not defined by what I lack, but by how I use what I have. Confidence does not come from being flawless, it comes from being real. When you turn your flaws into strengths, you take control of the narrative of your life. You stop giving power to fear, judgment, or self-doubt, and instead claim authority over your path. People are drawn to those who rise despite their challenges because they recognize courage when they see it. Your resilience becomes a beacon, your authenticity becomes a force, and your ability to turn weakness into strength becomes an inspiration. There is a transformative power in accepting that perfection is not the goal. Growth, learning, and courage are what define a meaningful life. When you embrace your flaws, you also embrace possibility. You give yourself permission to take risks, to pursue dreams, and to act boldly without the constant weight of judgment. Your imperfections make you relatable, human, and approachable. But more than that, they make you unstoppable when harnessed correctly. The struggle you have endured, the mistakes you have made, and the moments you wish you could erase, all of it can be turned into fuel. Fuel to motivate you, to teach you, to propel you higher than you ever imagined. Turning flaws into strengths requires courage. It requires facing the truth about yourself without flinching, without excuse, and without shame. It means understanding that each limitation is an opportunity to innovate, each failure is a step toward mastery, and each criticism is a chance to grow. You begin to see that what others perceive as weaknesses can be the very things that make you powerful. A sensitivity others dismiss as a flaw can become your empathy, connecting you with people and opportunities. Connecting you with people and opportunities. A tendency to overthink can become your strategic insight, seeing angles others miss. The qualities you once tried to hide, you can now wield as weapons in your pursuit of purpose and success. This process also requires patience and persistence. You will stumble, you will doubt, and the world will continue to challenge you. But with each setback comes a choice, to let it break you or to let it teach you. When you choose to learn, adapt, and grow, you transform each flaw into a stepping stone. Standing tall is not about the absence of adversity. It is about your response to it. It is about claiming your power, walking with integrity, and refusing to be diminished by what you once thought were limitations. You discover that your life is not defined by the struggles you face, but by how you face them, by the resilience you cultivate, and by the strength you build from within. Every great person you have ever admired, every individual who has inspired you with courage and perseverance, has faced flaws, failures, and moments of doubt. They did not succeed because they were perfect. They succeeded because they refused to be defeated by their imperfections. They stood tall, they turned their weaknesses into strength, and they moved forward with relentless determination. And you can do the same. You can take the parts of yourself you once hid, the fears you once buried, the doubts that once consumed you, and transform them into your greatest advantages. This is not an overnight process. It is a journey, a daily commitment to recognize opportunity in adversity, to find purpose in struggle, and to see power in vulnerability. When you learn to stand tall with your flaws, you also inspire others to do the same. People will watch how you handle challenges, how you respond to criticism, and how you carry yourself despite imperfections. Your life becomes a testament to what is possible when you refuse to let weakness define you. You create a legacy not of flawless perfection, but of courage, resilience, and authenticity. You show that strength is not the absence of flaws, but the mastery of them. Your journey becomes a roadmap, a source of hope, and a living example that it is not what happens to us, but how we rise that defines our story. In every moment, you have the choice to shrink or to rise, to let flaws paralyze you, or to turn them into power, to be defined by fear, or to be propelled by strength. When you embrace your imperfections and stand tall, You claim ownership of your life. You begin to see obstacles as opportunities, criticism as guidance, and failure as a teacher, rather than a sentence. You cultivate resilience that no one can take from you, confidence that no one can shake, and a sense of purpose that carries you forward. Life will continue to challenge you, but you will face it with a posture of strength, knowing that every flaw carries within it a gift waiting to be revealed. This is the path to transformation, the root T, O greatness, and the key to living fully and powerfully. Every scar, every mistake, every moment of self-doubt is part of the process, part of the journey, part of your story. You turn them into strength not by ignoring them, not by denying them, but by confronting them with courage, learning from them with humility, and wielding them with intention. When you do this, you stand tall in every sense of the word, unyielding in spirit, confident in purpose, and unstoppable in action. You show the world what it means to rise above, to endure, and to thrive. So look within, recognize your flaws, and see them not as chains, but as wings. Harness them, shape them, and use them to propel yourself forward. Stand tall, carry yourself with pride, and walk boldly into every challenge, knowing that what once held you back can now lift you higher than you ever imagined. There is power in this transformation. There is freedom in this acceptance. And there is greatness waiting for you on the other side of fear and self-doubt. Every step you take with this mindset moves you closer to the life you were meant to live. A life marked not by perfection, but by courage, resilience, and the unwavering strength that comes from turning flaws. Every person carries a voice inside their head, a voice that comments on every decision, every action, every thought. It tells you that you are not enough, that your dreams are too big, that your efforts will never be enough. That voice is relentless, a shadow that follows you even in moments of triumph, and if left unchecked, it can crush the spirit, cloud judgment, and dim your potential. But the power to change that voice, to quiet it, and to amplify the voice that matters, the voice of courage, clarity, and purpose, is in your hands. Life is too short to be spent listening to doubt disguised as advice. You must learn to recognize that inner critic for what it is, a voice rooted in fear, not truth. Silencing that critic is not about ignoring reality or pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about separating your potential from the judgment that holds you back. It is about understanding that mistakes do not define your worth, and that criticism, especially self-criticism, is not a verdict on your life, but an invitation to grow. When you start to push back against the inner voice that seeks to limit you, you create space for your true voice to rise. This voice is steady, clear, and confident. It speaks not from fear, but from conviction. It knows your strengths. It recognizes your value, and it demands that you act in alignment with your purpose. Every time you amplify your voice, you take a step toward freedom. You begin to act without hesitation, to speak without apology, and to pursue your goals with unwavering focus. Opportunities that once felt out of reach begin to appear because you are no longer blocked by self-doubt. Confidence is not built in the absence of fear, but in the moments when you speak and act despite it. When your inner critic tries to pull you backward, you stand firm, affirming your vision, your worth, and your ability to navigate life's challenges with strength. Amplifying your voice also means claiming ownership of your story. You have lived through trials, victories, failures, and lessons that no one else has experienced in the exact way you have. Your perspective is unique. Your experience is valuable, and your insights can inspire, guide, and influence others. To silence the inner critic is to remove the interference that prevents your story from being heard. You realize that your contributions matter, and that your voice has the power to shape not only your life, but the lives of those around you. This is not an instant transformation. The critic is persistent, and old habits of self-doubt die slowly, but persistence in practice builds mastery. Each time you speak up, each time you act despite the fear, the critic loses a little more power. You begin to notice the moments when doubt rises and respond, not with hesitation, but with conviction. You replace the questions of inadequacy with affirmations of capability. You replace hesitation with action. You replace fear with confidence. Over time, the voice that once held you captive becomes quiet, and your own voice, the one rooted in courage and truth, emerges stronger, louder, and clearer than ever. Silencing the inner critic is also an act of self-respect. It is acknowledging that you deserve to be heard, that your thoughts and ideas are valid, and that your presence matters. When you amplify your voice, you refuse to let fear dictate your actions or opinions. You refuse to shrink to make others comfortable or to hide your talents because of imagined limitations. You step into your life fully, owning your decisions, your dreams, and your impact. And in doing so, you become a model for others, showing that strength is not the absence of doubt, but the courage to act regardless of it. Your voice is a tool, a weapon, and a bridge. It allows you to communicate your ideas, influence outcomes, and inspire change. When you learn to amplify it, you gain clarity in decision-making, authority in action, and presence in every room you enter. People listen, not because you shout louder than everyone else, but because you speak from truth, from experience, and from a place of unwavering confidence. That is the voice that resonates, that inspires, and that leaves a lasting impact. So begin today by paying attention to the critic inside your mind. Recognize its lies, confront its fears, and choose to act in defiance of its limitations. Speak boldly, act decisively, and trust in your abilities. Replace hesitation with actation, uncertainty with conviction, and fear with courage. Amplify your voice in every area of life, whether it is in your career, your relationships, your dreams, or your purpose. The world needs to hear what you have to say. And the first step is silencing the doubt that has kept you quiet for too long. Life rewards those who take ownership of their voice, who refuse to be defined by the whispers of fear, and who act with clarity, purpose, and confidence. The process is ongoing. A lifelong practice of listening to the truth within rather than the lies of doubt. Each day you commit to amplifying your voice. You grow stronger, more influential, and more aligned with your purpose. You learn to navigate challenges with resilience, to inspire those around you, and to live a life of authenticity that cannot be silenced. Every step you take towards silencing the inner critic is a step toward freedom. You are no longer a prisoner of doubt, you are a champion of action. You discover the power in your words, the influence in your presence, and the courage that arises when you trust yourself. Your voice becomes your anchor, your guide, and your strength, carrying you through uncertainty, adversity, and challenge. The louder you allow it to become, the brighter your path, and the greater your impact. Take ownership of your mind, your thoughts, and your voice. Stand firm against self-doubt, speak your truth, and act with conviction. Let the critic fade into the background as your purpose rises to the forefront. Your voice has power, your story has value, and your presence matters. The world is waiting for you to step fully into it, to speak boldly, to act decisively, and to shine without reservation. In doing so, you do more than change your life. You light the way for others to find the courage to amplify their voices as well. Life will constantly present you with moments where you are forced to decide between comfort and courage, between safety and possibility, between staying where you are and stepping into the unknown. Those moments are not accidents. They are invitations, tests of faith, and opportunities to claim the life you were meant to live. Trusting yourself to take the leap is not about ignoring fear or pretending that the unknown is easy. It is about acknowledging the fear, sizing it up, and deciding that your vision, your purpose, and your potential are more important than the comfort of staying behind. Every leap requires belief, not in the absence of risk, but in your ability to navigate whatever comes on the other side. The leap is personal. It is different for each of us. For some, it might be leaving a job that no longer serves your growth to pursue a calling that scares and excites you at the same time. For others, it may mean speaking up when silence feels safer, following a dream that everyone else doubts, or making a decision that defies the expectations of others. Whatever form it takes, the leap demands trust in yourself. Trust that your instincts are reliable, that your preparation has equipped you, and that even if the landing is uncertain, you have the strength to recover and keep moving. Hesitation and doubt are natural, but they are not the rulers of your destiny. Your willingness to act in spite of them is what determines whether you stay in the shadow of possibility or step into the light of achievement. Owning your path means taking full responsibility for the trajectory of your life. It means no longer blaming circumstance, other people, or fear for where you are. It means accepting that your choices, your discipline, and your courage are the architects of your future. There is a profound liberation that comes when you realize you are the driver of your journey, that the direction and momentum you create below, NG to you and you alone. That ownership does not come with guarantees. It comes with responsibility, accountability, and an unwavering commitment to move forward even when the road is uncertain. The world will try to tell you what you should do, how you should act, and where you should go. Trusting yourself means filtering that noise and standing firm in the decisions that align with your values, purpose, and vision. Taking the leap is rarely comfortable. Fear will rise, doubt will whisper, and the voices of others will try to shake your resolve. But every step taken with courage and faith strengthens your confidence, sharpens your clarity, and confirms your ability to handle life on your own terms. The leap is never a single moment. It is a series of choices, repeated acts of courage, and small steps of faith that accumulate into a life fully lived. The more you trust yourself, the more you build a foundation of self-reliance and clarity that makes each subsequent decision less intimidating and more aligned with your purpose. There is a power in trusting your instincts, in listening to the quiet voice that knows what is right for you, even when the world does not agree. That trust allows you to act decisively, to embrace opportunities, and to create momentum in your life. Waiting for perfect conditions or absolute certainty is a trap that keeps dreams in the shadows. Action, fueled by trust, transforms ideas into reality, potential into accomplishment, and hope into tangible results. Each leap, no matter how small, signals to the universe and to yourself that you are committed to your path, that you have faith in your abilities, and that you refuse to be paralyzed by fear. Owning your path also means honoring your values and staying true to yourself in every decision. It is easy to be influenced by the opinions of others or the pressure to conform, but true power comes from integrity, authenticity, and alignment with your own vision. When you trust yourself, your actions reflect your principles, your priorities, and your long-term goals rather than short-term approval. That alignment builds confidence, clarity, and resilience, allowing you to navigate challenges without losing sight of who you are and what you aim to achieve. The leap requires courage, but it also requires preparation, reflection, and perseverance. You will not always land perfectly, and mistakes will happen, but the very act of trusting yourself and taking action builds character, wisdom, and resilience. Each experience teaches you more about your strengths, your limits, and your capacity to handle uncertainty. You learn that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process, a teacher that shapes your understanding, sharpens your skills, and strengthens your resolve. By trusting yourself and taking the leap, you create a life that is uniquely yours. You step away from fear, hesitation, and conformity and step into purpose, confidence, and fulfillment. You learn to own your decisions, your journey, and your results. The path may be unpredictable, and the landing may not always be smooth, but with each leap, you gain courage, clarity, and the ability to navigate life with integrity and strength. You discover that the life you seek is not something to wait for, but something to claim through trust, action, and unwavering faith in your abilities. Trusting yourself and owning your path is a lifelong practice, a series of decisions that demand courage, resilience, and clarity. Every time you choose to act in alignment with your purpose rather than shrink in fear, you strengthen the foundation of your life. Each leap reinforces the truth that you are capable, that you are equipped, and that your vision is valid. When you embrace this principle, Life. No longer feels like a series of obstacles, but a series of opportunities, each waiting for you to take the leap and claim your place in the world. Life moves fast. It rushes past, carrying moments, opportunities, struggles, and victories in a blur. And too often we forget to pause, to reflect, to recognize what we have achieved. We focus on what is next, what is missing, and what is not yet accomplished. And in that rush, we overlook the power of celebration, the significance of acknowledging progress, and the strength that comes from honoring every step forward. Every victory, no matter how small, is proof that you are moving, that you are capable, and that you are growing. It is evidence that your efforts matter, that your dedication produces results, and that your life has meaning and impact. Celebrating victories begins with noticing them. So often we minimize our accomplishments, thinking they are insignificant, thinking they do not count, thinking that only the grand milestones deserve recognition. But the truth is that the small victories, the moments you resist negativity, the choices you make to act with integrity, the times you keep going despite fear, these are the moments that build the foundation for lasting success. They shape your habits, strengthen your resolve, and affirm your capacity to move forward. To celebrate them is to honor your journey, to affirm your worth, and to reinforce the belief that you are capable of more than you imagined. When you take time to recognize your wins, something remarkable happens inside. Confidence grows, momentum builds, and the inner voice that doubts your worth begins to quiet. Every acknowledgement of progress, no matter how minor, becomes fuel for the next challenge, the next goal, the next step forward. Life is not only about reaching the summit, it is about climbing, about learning, about persisting. Each small victory is a marker of growth, a sign that you are living with intention, that you are putting in the work, and that you are moving toward the life you envision. Celebration is also an act of gratitude. When you recognize what you have accomplished, you shift focus from scarcity to abundance. You appreciate your effort, your perseverance, and the lessons you have learned along the way. Gratitude transforms achievement into meaning, reminding you that your journey is valuable, that your presence matters, and that every step you take is a reflection of your commitment to your growth and purpose. This mindset does more than reinforce success. It cultivates resilience. It allows you to face setbacks with perspective, understanding that every challenge is another opportunity to learn, to grow, and to add to the story of your victories. Acknowledging victories strengthens your identity. Life will always test you, and the world will always try to minimize your efforts. But when you celebrate what you achieve, you internalize proof of your worth. You teach yourself that your choices matter, that your effort produces results, and that you are capable of creating change in your life. Each celebration, no matter how small, is a declaration that you are worthy, that your work is significant, and that your life is moving in the direction you intend. The habit of recognizing victories creates a pattern of self-respect, confidence, and motivation that compounds over time, transforming ordinary moments into extraordinary momentum. Celebration is also a signal to those around you. It communicates that progress matters, that effort is respected, and that achievement is recognized. When you celebrate your victories, you inspire others to notice theirs. You create a culture of acknowledgement and encouragement, showing that no accomplishment is too small to honor. This ripple effect strengthens relationships, builds communities, and reinforces the understanding that growth is a journey, not a competition. When we collectively recognize effort and progress, we elevate one another and reinforce the truth that every step forward is a step worth celebrating. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and moments when progress feels invisible. That is why celebration matters. It becomes a counterbalance to discouragement, a reminder that you are moving, that you are learning, and that you are capable of growth. Celebrating victories builds confidence, fosters resilience, and cultivates an inner strength that carries you through uncertainty. It is proof that you have the ability to overcome, to persevere, and to succeed in ways that may not always be immediately visible, but are nonetheless real and powerful. The power of celebrating victories also lies in its ability to reinforce purpose. When you acknowledge even small accomplishments, you connect them to the bigger vision of your life. You see how consistent effort, discipline, and courage accumulate into meaningful results. This awareness motivates you to keep going, to take the next step, and to approach challenges with energy and clarity. Every recognition of success, no matter how modest, becomes a reminder that your life matters, that your contributions matter, and that your efforts are producing real impact in ways that may not always be seen, but are deeply felt. So pause often. Take time to reflect on your journey. Celebrate the victories that might. T seems small, the moments of discipline, courage, and perseverance that define who you are. Recognize that these victories are proof of your strength, your capability, and your growth. Allow yourself to feel pride, gratitude, and accomplishment, because in doing so you strengthen your resolve, elevate your confidence, and honor your worth. Life is a series of steps, and every step counts. Every step is a victory. Every victory is proof that you are capable, resilient, and deserving of success. Your journey is yours to claim. And each victory, however small, is evidence of the progress you are making, the obstacles you are overcoming, and the person you are becoming. By celebrating these moments, you cultivate momentum, reinforce self-worth, and create a life driven not by doubt or fear, but by recognition, purpose, and pride in the path you are forging. Remember, greatness is not only in the destination, it is in the accumulation of victories along the way. And each one, no matter how small, is a testament to your strength, courage, and undeniable value. And now, as you stand at the threshold of your own potential, remember this. Life is not measured only by the grand milestones, the accolades, or the moments that the world notices. It is measured by the courage you show when no one is watching, the persistence you practice when the road feels impossible, and the belief you carry in yourself when doubt surrounds you. Every step you take, every choice to act with integrity, every moment you embrace yourself fully, builds the life you were meant to live. Success begins with self-love, and it grows when you trust yourself, honor your journey, and shine unapologetically. Do not wait for permission, for approval, or for the world to tell you that you are ready. You are ready. The strength, the resilience, and the vision you need are already inside you. Take each leap with confidence, silence the voices that try to hold you back, and celebrate every victory along the way. Stand tall, claim your worth, and live with purpose. Your journey is yours to define, and the world is waiting for the full power of your light. Walk boldly, live fully, and let every moment reflect the truth that success always starts with self-love.